Hey, this is going to be a quick guide on how to set up the Sega Dreamcast emulated keyboard for Retroarch. It's going to let you chat online with other people easily without using the clunky controller chatting option. As well as, I'm going to go over a couple settings for Retroarch that you're probably going to want to have for online play. This will make things just function way easier and will prevent you from accidentally getting disconnected or booted off the server for any reason. Alright, first things first, you're going to go to Settings, then go to User Interface, and then from User Interface you're going to want to turn these settings off. So, pause content when menu is active, off. Pause content when not active, off. Pause content when controller disconnects, off. And quit on close content, off. In general, those ones you're going to want off just because if the game pauses on you, it's going to automatically boot you off the server, and that's when you hit the guide button and open up Retroarch menu. You don't want that. Next, you're going to go to Settings, Input, Hotkeys, and from the Hotkeys menu, you're going to want to disable the majority of these. So you can disable them by using Clear, which is the X button on Xbox. You can see down below it says. But all these ones with dots in them, close content, reset content, fast forward, just get rid of all these. Make sure you get rid of the save state ones. Anything that's going to pause or load a state or anything like that is going to totally screw up the online play. It's going to disconnect you immediately. It may even corrupt your save file. The VMU saves are super easy to corrupt, so it's better just have all this stuff off when playing online. That way, when you type with the keyboard, it's not going to screw anything up. You do want game focus. Set that one to scroll lock if it's not already. But other than that, other than the guide key, of course, I set the guide key to the pause button, which is just right up there by scroll lock. Other than that, everything else should be off. Alright, next you're going to hit B and go back to the input menu. Scroll down until you see the auto enable game focus mode. Turn that on. When that is on, it's going to allow your PC keyboard to act as a Dreamcast keyboard for chatting in-game. The scroll lock button will turn game focus mode off and on, and when it's off, it'll allow you to use the escape key to exit the game. Alright, now before you launch the game, you want to go to configuration file in the main menu, and you want to save current configuration. This should save everything that you just did, and it should say save to new config wherever your config file is. Alright, now you're going to go back and launch the game. Alright, now that the game is launched, go to continue. It's easy to set up the keyboard this way by looking at the VMUs. Your VMUs should look something like this. Hit the guide button, which should be pause on the keyboard, the pause key, or your guide button. Go down to controls, and then you're going to go to port 1 controls first. You want to set device type to controller, and you want to set the mapped port to 2. Then go back and select port 2, set the device type to keyboard, and set the map port to 1. After you're done with that, go to manage remap files and save game remap file as, and it should look like mine up there with active remap file with the game name there. You might have to set it a couple times, go back to the port 1 and port 2 and just double check, make sure it took. For some reason it's real finicky and it doesn't always take. Alright, if your Dreamcast keyboard's set up properly, you will no longer see the port A VMU. Don't worry if you have a save on there, it's still there. You'll just have to go into the Retroarch folder. So Retroarch is typically saved on Windows at the C drive. So just go to C drive, Retroarch, and then go into the system folder and then DC. In the DC folder, you should see all the different VMUs. A1 is obviously the first port. So if you don't have any other saves in the other ports, you can simply rename it to VMU save B1 or C1, and it will move it to whatever port. Now just be careful that you don't obviously overwrite any of your other saves if you had the other saves on the other ports, but otherwise that's it. You can also back up your saves by copying all the VMU files and pasting them into a backup folder somewhere on your computer, and then if there is any corruption, you can use that to basically get your character back. Alright, one final tip. If you want to unlock all of the VMUs possible, You can go to the quick menu by pressing the guide or the pause key. From there, hit core options, and then go down to controller expansion slots, and then enable every single slot as a VMU, and that should give you 6 different VMUs to save 6 different characters to. Alright, well, if the keyboard's set up correctly, you should be able to join a lobby and simply start typing. Make sure your game focus is on. If you're not sure if it's on, try pressing A and hitting enter. And if it works, then you should be good to go. If it's not, try hitting scroll lock and turning on game focus. You can see I'm turning it off and on there. And yeah. Hopefully this guide was helpful to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment in the video, and I'll try to get back to you. Otherwise, hopefully I'll see you on the server later.